The hours is our White House correspondent, Philip CROWTHER, who joins us now. Philip, let's talk about early voting. It's over in most parts.
Yeah, and in some of the most important states and those that we'll be really looking at very, very closely on election day on Tuesday and during the night from Tuesday to Wednesday. For example, early voting is over in Texas and in Florida. As you just heard, Texas is the most expensive single Senate race there is. Florida is the most expensive state there is because Florida has not just one very crucial race for senator, but also one for the governorship of the state. In terms of early voting, we're seeing record outcomes or close to record outcomes in Florida already. Of course, we don't know the results. We don't know who those votes were for because they'll be counted all together on Tuesday night here local time. In Texas, fascinating figures coming out from the largest state in the union. The total amount of early votes cast already is in fact more than the total vote from the last midterm elections in 2014. Now, we won't read too much into it, except that we see that a lot of young voters are coming out to vote early. That tends to be a good sign for Democrats. But remember, after what happened in 2016 and so many polls and so many experts getting it completely wrong, we're a little bit reluctant here to make some clear predictions.
A little bit reluctant. You know, Philip, 2 years ago, I swore to myself I wasn't going to obsessively look at polling statistics leading up to the next race. And I got to confess, over the weekend, I've been checking all the websites and looking to see who's got the lead where, despite myself. Have you been reading the tea leaves?
Yeah, of course, we all analyze those polls. There's no way past them, really. And we can, from a myriad of polls, come up with some relatively clear conclusions as to where things might go. Of course, a lot of this can change because we don't know exactly where these votes will go. But most of the polls show us three things. One is that Democrats generally, nationwide, will have the edge over Republicans. Now, that was also the case 2 years ago. In the presidential election, Hillary Clinton got more votes than Donald Trump, but because that was a state-by-state electoral college race, Donald Trump managed to get more electoral college votes in the end. Now, something similar happens during midterm elections because these are votes for state senators and state members of the House of Representatives, so they aren't all amassed together, of course. So that's the first thing. We see Democrats will get more votes than Republicans. That's almost inevitable. Now, what might happen in the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate? In the House, Democrats will have to get quite a lot of votes to be able to swing things their way, but the map is looking good for them right now. There's a very high chance that Democrats will come out of these midterm elections having won back the House of Representatives. Will they win the U.S. Senate as well? That's very, very unlikely because they are on the defensive more than they are on offense, meaning that they have to defend a lot of very, very precarious seats that Republicans might be able to get off them, and they would still have to gain an extra 2 seats to get the advantage in the U.S. Senate. So the most likely outcome, again, this is just according to polls, but many of them, is that Democrats would get control of the House of Representatives and that they would not regain control of the U.S. Senate and might even lose 1 or 2 seats in that body.
And we'll, of course, be following it live with Philip CROWTHER with our election night coverage here on France 24. Many thanks for that update.